Once upon a time, there lived a girl called Nadia. Nadia was the daughter of a very rich man, and she was very arrogant and wicked. Nadia never liked poor people, as she believed she was superior to them in every way. One day, Nadia was on her way to see her best friend, Miriama, when a poor old woman mistakenly grabbed her hands for support. The old woman was about tripping on a stone when she reached out for Nadia's hand to gain some support and prevent her from falling. Nadia was so furious and pushed the old woman to the floor. She was so disgusted and began to clean her hand frantically. "You smelly woman! How dare you touch me with your filthy hands?" said Nadia in disgust. The old woman was in severe pain as Nadia pushed her to the ground and did not care to assist her, as she believed she was too clean to touch the filthy old woman. Nadia hurriedly left the scene as a very kind girl named Jainaba quickly rushed to help the old woman up. Jainaba was the poor butcher's daughter, and she witnessed all that happened from a distance. The old woman then whispered some words under her breath, and everything changed. Nadia turned into a very poor and scruffy-looking girl. She was unaware of this as she continued to walk briskly to her friend's house. When Nadia got to her friend's house, she began to narrate her encounter with the poor old woman. Her friend, Miriama, on sighting the scruffy-looking girl, screamed at the top of her lungs. "Who are you and what are you doing in my house?" Miriama said. And this made Nadia confused, as she told Miriama to stop playing around. Nadia believed it was probably a prank, but Miriama was frightened at this point, as she wondered how the poor and scruffy-looking girl knew her name and was conversing with her freely like they were friends. Miriama kept screaming, and this alerted her whole household, who bundled Nadia and threw her out of the house. Nadia was in utter confusion. She ran home and began to knock on her own house door, but no one opened up for her either. Nadia noticed that no one seemed to recognize her, and this confused her as she ran to quickly beg a villager for a mirror to look at herself. Then Nadia realized that she was in another person's body, a dirty and scruffy-looking girl. Nadia screamed, hoping that what she had just witnessed was a terrible nightmare, but sadly, this was now Nadia's reality. Confused and sad, Nadia sat by the entrance of her house, trying to figure out what she would do, when suddenly she saw a girl that looked so much like her. "Who are you and why are you in my body?" said Nadia to the girl, and the girl revealed that her name was Jainaba, and she was the daughter of the popular village butcher. Nadia at this point was irritated, as she could not believe she was now in the body of the village butcher's daughter. "How disgusting," she said out loud, and this infuriated Jainaba, who left Nadia behind as she walked into Nadia's house. When Jainaba realized she had switched bodies with Nadia, she was heading to Nadia's house to figure out what happened and how they could both tackle the issue. But the way Nadia behaved towards her infuriated her, and she decided to enjoy all the wealth and affluence Nadia had been enjoying all her life. Jainaba was able to blend easily into Nadia's life, And although Nadia's friends and family noticed a change in Nadia's behavior, they loved this version of her more because she was more considerate and warm towards everyone. Nadia, on the other hand, was finding it difficult to adjust into Jainaba's life as her rudeness and uncouth behavior could not be hidden. Nadia, being reduced to a poor girl, continued to treat poor people around her with disdain, and the people could not understand why Jainaba, who was a quiet and calm girl, suddenly turned to an uncultured and rude girl. Little did they know that Nadia was in Jainaba's body. One day, Jainaba was out in the village with Nadia's rich friends when the rich girls caught sight of a scruffy-looking poor girl and decided to bully her. This was what they did anytime they saw a poor boy or girl, as they derived so much pleasure in taunting poor people. But what they did not know was that the poor girl they were bullying was their friend Nadia in Jainaba's body. "Is this not the scruffy-looking girl that barged into my house the other day?" said Miriama, who began to hurl insults at the poor girl. "You dirty thing! How dare you come into my home and talk to me? Are we of the same class, you scruffy-looking poor thing?" said Miriama, and Nadia was heartbroken and began to cry, as she could not believe how vile her friends were towards her. Nadia began to feel what the poor people felt whenever she bullied and insulted them for no just cause. Jainaba, watching all what the rich girls were unknowingly doing to their friend Nadia, could not condone their actions anymore, so she immediately stood up for Nadia and warned the rich girls never to look down on the poor. The rich girls were shocked as they wondered what had come over Nadia, who never liked poor people and taught them never to be kind to the poor. What they did not know was that Nadia was now Jainaba. This encounter broke Nadia's heart as she began to reflect on her life and decided to be kind to poor people. What Nadia decided to do was to go around the village doing kind deeds for the people she had wronged in the past. She wrote a list and began to approach these people one after the other. They did not know that it was Nadia because she was in Jainaba's body, but nevertheless, Nadia went ahead to appease these people one after the other. Nadia began to do chores for the poor people that she had wronged in the past, and this gave her some sense of fulfillment. Suddenly, she remembered the old woman she pushed to the ground on the day she swapped bodies and began to ask around the village for the woman. Nobody in the village seemed to know who the old woman was, but Nadia did not give up as she was hell-bent on finding this old woman to atone for her wrongs. One early morning, Nadia was on her way to the village stream when she saw a small girl lying down by the stream. The little girl had fractured her legs and was unconscious. Nadia guessed that the little girl would have been swept to the shore not long ago, as her clothes were drenched in water. The little girl also stunk badly as she had defecated on herself, but Nadia paid no mind to this and rushed the girl quickly to the village healer. Nadia's whole body was stinking at this point, But this did not bother her, as she was more concerned about the health of the poor little girl. Nadia then rushed home to bring some food and water for the girl, as she knew that the girl would be so hungry when she regained consciousness. When she returned to the healer's hut that evening, she noticed the girl was now wide awake, and to her greatest surprise, Nadia saw the old woman she had been looking for in months. The girl Nadia rescued was the old woman's granddaughter, who had been missing for days. The day the old woman cursed Nadia, she was moving around the village looking for her granddaughter. Little did she know that Nadia, whom she cursed, would be the same person to rescue her granddaughter. The old woman was delighted and handed Nadia a necklace and told her to wear the necklace at sunrise, that her life would forever be as bright as the rising sun. Nadia was excited and did as the old woman instructed her. By sunrise, Nadia wore the necklace and immediately she returned back to her body. Everything about Nadia changed, as she was more happy, receptive, and warm towards everyone she came across, regardless of class and status. Nadia began to spend more time helping poor people, and the villagers loved her so much. Nadia's rich friends deserted her because they could not understand her new lifestyle, and Nadia became best friends with Jainaba, the butcher's daughter, and they became inseparable. The lesson to be learned from this story is that you should not look down on people, because if tables are turned, you will not like to be treated that way. Treat people the way you would like to be treated, and we will all live a happy life. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.